Yesterday, House and Senate Democrats reintroduced the Keep Americans Safe Act, which would ban high-capacity magazines. And Colorado Congresswoman Diana DeJette is calling on Congress to act immediately on this legislation. Joining us now to react also from Colorado is freshman Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Congresswoman, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Congressman, you've been a big advocate and a defender of the Second Amendment. So explain to viewers why this push by Democrats would infringe upon people's Second Amendment rights.
Well, Sean, first of all, it's interesting that Representative DeJette is urging a high-capacity magazine ban. We have that in Colorado, and that would not have stopped the horrible tragedy that we saw take place in Boulder, Colorado. We have some of the most restrictive gun laws in the nation, and none of them would have stopped this evil man from causing harm and killing innocent people in Boulder, Colorado. So first of all, the answer is not introducing new legislation. It's enforcing the laws that are already on the books. Let's take care of the criminal problem instead of making law-abiding citizens criminals by passing more legislation. And remember, the reason Biden is acting by executive order when it comes to gun legislation is because he can't pass these horrible actions through the Congress. The American people said exactly how they felt about the Second Amendment when over 8 million citizens purchased a firearm for the first time last year. Americans support the Second Amendment, not these gun regulations, and that's why we see the President of the United States acting through executive orders.
Okay, so Congressman, this is something that comes up a lot of times when I talk to people who've never either fired a gun or aren't familiar with firearms. Explain to someone why, if someone might say, well, wait a second, why can't you be satisfied with a 10-clip magazine? Why is that a big deal? Why is that an infringement on your right? You still get your gun, you still get to shoot. Why does it matter that it can only shoot 10, not 12 or 15?
Well, this is a Bill of Rights, not a Bill of Needs, and to limit how many rounds of ammunition I need to carry is certainly an infringement on my right to protect myself. We have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and I need to be alive for all of that. We see tragic situations where police officers are outgunned by bad people doing evil, horrible things. You never know how much ammunition an evil person is going to have, so why limit the amount that you can have to protect yourself? I mean, it's just ridiculous to want to limit it in that manner. Look, I'm 5'0". I barely weigh 100 pounds, and I need a way to protect myself. I need an equalizer to neutralize a threat of a larger potential aggressor. And it doesn't matter if I have 10 rounds of ammunition or 100. I'm going to be able to protect myself by any means necessary.
You know, Congresswoman, you brought up the tragic events that happened in your own state in Boulder, Colorado. We've seen, you know, in the last few years, a record number of mass shootings. And so, as you expressed, the response from the left is, okay, we need sweeping gun reforms. And as you expressed also, Republicans always say, all right, well, we don't need these gun reforms. We need to enforce the law. But it's not happening. So what is the problem? What is the solve here? Because there is clearly a problem.
If gun legislation actually worked, cities like Chicago and even Washington, D.C. would look like Mayberry. If these cities had improved at all through gun legislation, maybe we would take a look at it and say, this is reasonable. There's actually a solution here. But there's no solution in just adding on more gun legislation. The safest places in America have the least gun restrictions, and the most dangerous places in America have the heaviest gun control. And right now, the left is promoting a surge at our southern border, bailing out rioters, and at the same time trying to take away your guns, disarming you and removing your ability to protect yourself, your business, and your life from those who wish to do you harm.
Well, Congresswoman, then who does this fall on to enforce gun control? Because it's not happening. So who does that fall on? Because it doesn't seem like it's Congress here.
It lies on the police officers that Democrats are calling to defund and remove qualified immunity from. This is what they signed up for. They took an oath to uphold the Constitution and to enforce the law. but their hands are tied. Our police officers are demonized, and Democrats are calling for them to not only be defunded, but to not be protected in performing their job duties that they took an oath to do.
Do you think, Alabama earlier today in their Senate passed a bill that would make it illegal to enforce any of Biden's new gun control laws. Do you think that, we're going to see that in other states around the country where they want to make sure that they take a strong stand for the Second Amendment?
This is exactly what we need to be seeing all throughout the country. I'm all for federalism and exercising the 10th Amendment. Unfortunately, Democrat governors understand the 10th Amendment better than some Republicans do at times, and they are well ahead in enforcing these progressive policies in their states. But we are seeing governors like in Alabama and in Texas and even in Florida take a stand on various issues against the progressive left and their radical narrative, and saying, not in our state. We are going to secure the Constitution. We are going to protect the rights of our citizens and promote them and stop these overreaching radical policies.
Congresswoman, thank you for coming on and explaining what's going on up there and what the Democrats are trying to do to us. Appreciate your time as always.
Thanks so much.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.